Pam Whistler submitted a list of 50 well-qualified, civic-minded, decent individuals as roasters, and these are the names she came up with. Pam, I know you handpicked this group of roasters. I haven't seen this many bad decisions since last Sunday's Rams-Cincinnati football game. Our roasters tonight are, not in any particular order. Actually, in order for Pam to get them here, we had to offer them free booze and a shepherd's ride home. Dale Newdecker, Pride Bucket Brigade, old. Jim Hofer, President, CEO, Jersey State Bank, not as old. Joe Hanahan, Quality Pontiac, old friend. Mike Slaughter, Principal, Marquette High School, old. Dave Bartosiak, C.S. Schlosser, old friend. And last is Steve Schwartz, first boss, an old friend. I don't know if you've noticed the common denominator. Old. So we'll begin this evening, if Mr. Newdecker would grace us with his presence on the stage. Dale? John, if you would come up and take the honor seat, or the hot seat.
It looks more like Santa's chair.
Well, there are already a couple stains on the chair, so don't worry about it too much. We'll cover up anything that looks too obnoxious.
I appreciate that fine introduction, Frank. Old was the key word when you use my name. John, good to see you sitting there.
I need to be sitting there.
I was sitting there for a couple of years ago. And I would like to honor my good friend in roasting, John Keller. It's sort of like the golden rule: do unto others as they did to you. Now, did I get the golden rule right?
Yeah. So far.
John has been involved with many organizations. Two of his favorites are the East End Association and Pride Incorporated. John has been active with many of the projects with both organizations, particularly the Bucket Brigade. East End paints every year. Carrollton Bank paints. But we go around and take pictures of all the groups that are painting, and the newspaper eventually prints these pictures. When I arrived to take a picture at the Carrollton Bank team, John was nowhere to be seen. But if you look at the pictures of the East End Association, there's John's smiling face. If you didn't know it, East End has their own special rules. When they're painting, they paint until 1 o'clock, and the beer comes out at 1 o'clock. So my only take on this, John, is that you love beer more than you love bankers. But I go way back when John started as a banker. He was told to look the part, he needed to have a tailor-made suit. So he went to fitting. He picked beautiful fabric. The colors were just great. And And John just couldn't wait to get this new suit. He never had a tailor-made suit before. So he finally got that call. He went to the tailor's, he put on the suit. It was beautiful. It fit perfectly. The fabric was great. And as he reached down, there were no pockets. John said to the tailor, "You forgot to put pockets in my new suit." Taylor said, "You are a banker, right?" Well, have you ever heard of a banker putting his hands in his own pockets? Oh, shoot, there goes my cell phone. I hate to interrupt the meeting this way. It might be important. Are you still there? Hello? Hello? Yes, this is Dale Newdecker. Who's this calling? Who? FDIC. No, this is not a good time to be calling. Yes, I did file a complaint about John. No, it's not a good time. See, there's hundreds of people here honoring him as we speak. That doesn't matter? Yes, it matters a lot. You what? You want me to explain again my complaints of discrimination of the elderly and attempted bribery? Well, you know, Carol and I went to John for a loan. And, you know, we are senior citizens. We are on a fixed income. And since he was a good friend, we figured that he would take good care of us. We wanted to buy a Harley. Yes, Harley is in motorcycle. We wanted to buy a Harley so the two of us could hit the road and see America. My wife, she was in the convent, and they didn't have a very good travel plan in the convent. And she always wanted to do this, hit the road, the wind blowing through her hair, sort of like the Flying Nun. We thought our request of a 30-year loan was reasonable. Yes, that's right, 30-year loan. We always paid our bills. We paid them on time. Our credit reference is good, John. We couldn't believe his reaction. Do you know what he said to me? Do you think you can live 30 years? Yes, that's discrimination because of age. And yes, I did charge him with attempted bribery too. You know what he did? He offered me a sleeve of golf balls when he turned down my loan. If I've ever heard of bribery, that's it, John. Yes, the FDIC is a federal government, and you are taking this seriously? Wow. John will be leaving the bank at the end of the month. It's kind of embarrassing to get this decision if we're here honoring John. Matter of fact, I've never seen the federal government make such a quick decision. John, I hope you forgive me for turning you in. All kidding aside, John has been a tireless worker for our community. Carol and I were honored to serve with John on the Marquette Capital Fund Drive. John had a lot to do with raising that $3 million for needed improvements at Marquette. John has always been a leader and will continue to be one in retirement. We expect even bigger and better things to come. Carol and I wish you, Kathy, and your entire family the very best. Have a great retirement. And we heard old bankers never die. They just lose interest.
Thank you, Dale. Good start. Jim Hofer, President and CEO of Jersey State Bank. He is next up. He's considered sort of
Don't you hate those FDIC phone calls? Frank, I was going to suggest you sit down. Glad you could read my mind. Dale Newdecker, nice job. You know, I asked Dr. Bemis, I said, Frank, can you get me on first tonight? Frank said, I would, but I told Dale he could go first because he had to get home and go to sleep. So, thanks, Frank. First of all, just a little experience about my tenure and what I've done to be associated with Pride. Pride's a wonderful organization. I commend you, all the members of Pride, for what you do and the mission that you fulfill, beautifying our community. I've sat on the board for several years, and you do a wonderful job. So, as a member of the community, I want to thank all of you on Pride. When Pam asked me if I wanted to participate in tonight's event, John, look at me. Look at me, John. You're scared, aren't you? Well, there's good reason you should be. When Pam asked me to participate in tonight's event, I thought this was to congratulate John on his achievements. Then I found out it was a chance to roast him. I did not hesitate one bit. So, John, Kathy, Elizabeth, and JR, please don't take anything that I say tonight personally or offensively. We're just here to have a good time.
Don't believe it either.
Hell, I might even take a shot at Jack and Joni tonight, who knows? John Yale Keller. What can you say about a man who's admired, revered, and loved by everyone? I can start by telling you that's not the man we're honoring here tonight. I've had an opportunity to know John basically since grade school. We went to St. Mary's Catholic grade school, good Catholic kids, Catholic boys growing up, chasing Catholic girls. Worked with John at Illinois State Bank for 8, 9 years. John's actually, we're pretty much like brothers. We've been through a lot, we've known each other for a long time, and we've had a great time together. As a matter of fact, my wife Nancy made me promise that I wouldn't tell this story tonight, so it's going to have to stay within this room. But Nancy's mother's maiden name is Dorothy Yale. John's name is John Yale Keller. So, what a small world. They are actually related. Just like I think most people in this room are probably related. John was born in Key West, Florida. Jack was serviced and in the station there. And what a great place to be stationed, huh, Jack? Joni? They moved to Alton, where John attended St. Mary's grade school. I remember John, he was 2 years older than I was at grade school. Few people really know this, but it's a well-known fact that when John when he was growing up as a kid, he really wanted to be a pharmacist. But he couldn't figure out how to get the prescription bottles in the typewriter, so he decided that profession was not going to work. He went to Marquette, graduated in 1972. And Frank, I think your math's off. I show here he spent 6 years at Benedictine College and graduated with a degree in I don't know what. And if anybody is familiar with Benedictine College, they closed shortly after John graduated. So I don't know if that's a coincidence or not. John was quite an athlete in his younger years. He played rugby at Benedictine, and he played some club rugby over in St. Louis, I believe. Did you, John? Oh. The guy doesn't know the meaning of the word fear. But then he doesn't know the meaning of most words. So it doesn't surprise me that he doesn't know the meaning of the word fear. I used to play basketball with John on Monday nights. Remember the Monday night league, John? We'd go down to the Hartford gym after work, and we'd get off work at 5. Down to Hartford gym about 5:15. Bunch of guys from Wedge Bank. We basically called it Financial League. And John was like a pit bull on the court. You couldn't control the guy, and he continually would go up for rebounds under the basket. Now, John had about a good 2-inch vertical leap. That was on a good day. John occasionally would get his hand on the ball, but most of the time he would just get an elbow in the head. I remember somebody making a comment to you one time. You remember this? Made a comment to you about being short. Remember what you did? You punched him in the knee.
Oh, now I remember.
John married the love of his life, Kathy Jourdain, in the early 1980s, and together they had Elizabeth and J.R. We've had a lot of good times, haven't we? Remember? Mexico, Florida, Colorado, Hawaii, Maui, the ABC store. We happen to be in Maui. We were in Maui, 5 couples. We decided that we were going to go to the store. The guys were going to go get some refreshments, go back to the beach. Beautiful day on the beach. Sun shining, nice weather, little breeze. Came back to the beach. Kathy happened to have the phone to her ear in one hand and shaking her fist in the other hand. We really didn't know what was going on. I said, boy, John, looks like Kathy's hammering one of the kids here. Next thing I know, John's on the phone. Phone to the ear, pounding his fist. I'm not going to tell you the rest of the story, but if you have any questions, you could probably ask Elizabeth later. You know, what can you say about a guy like John? The guy that thinks that a balanced diet is a beer in each hand. John joined Carrollton Bank in the mid-1990s, and he's been a great banker, he's been a great competitor, and he's made some lifelong customers and friends. And success has not changed this guy one bit, or even come anywhere near him for that matter. I was surprised to hear about John's retirement. I was totally shaken when I heard this. John retired at 61 years old. When was the last time you were early for anything? But a lot of people don't know this. And when I asked John about his retirement, he confided in me. And he told me that he's decided to retire due to health reasons. And it's not John's health, it's the fact that the company's sick of him. So before retiring, John, I'm going to ask you, stay home and watch daytime soaps for about a week and make sure that's what you really want to do the rest of your life. Last year we had a surprise party, remember that? 60 years old. John, surprise party, caught you off guard, didn't we? This year, 61 years old, we've got a retirement party. What's it going to be next year? I'm sure either Ralph Bowles or Rod Elias are both licking their chops. John, you know what? You're going to actually be able to spend more time at home with your family. And by the look on their face, I don't think they're too excited about it. Look at it. Good job, Joni. I look forward to you improving your golf game, John. We play together every year down in Kentucky. I want you to get that 36 handicap down to a 33 or 34 before we go this year. Actually, I want to tell you all, from the bottom of my heart, I've enjoyed this evening. John, you're a great sport, and I want to wish you well in your retirement. And the last thing I want to say is that if Steve Schwartz associates my name with any of his stories, do not believe those. You all have a great evening.
Good job, David. Next on the agenda is Joe Hanahan, Quality Pontiac. Once again, an old friend of John's. Joe?
A few months ago, I got a call from Aunt Whistler, and she asked if I'd help with the roast for John. I immediately said yes, because I honestly thought she meant a barbecue. We're going to have a pig roast. Well, and I knew John would love to go to a hog roast because he beat anorexia a couple years ago. He's right. Several of us were discussing our speeches, and it would be something I thought a show ago. And we were discussing what we were going to talk about, and John kind of overheard us. And he said, man, can you guys leave out stuff that will incriminate me? So here's that file. Started going on a little more, and he goes, man, can you guys not talk about all the times we were drinking? Here's that dossier. So, I'm done. Thanks, folks. I've known this guy for about 50 years, give or take a few months. And it's hard to pick on somebody that you really know and know that you can confide in him and tell him your deepest, darkest secrets, because you know in all confidence he'll forgive it by the next morning. I was going to give a little history about John. You guys have kind of touched on him being born in Key West, but one thing nobody said was he was born on November 21st, which If you ask Joni, his due date was November 10th, which kind of set the precedence for everything he's done in his life. When I was a kid, about 4th or 5th grade, my mom sent me up to Pearl Street Market, and I'm getting some groceries, and I look across the street, and there's this little kid on a mini bike, flying back and forth down the sidewalk. And man, that is so cool. Everybody needs a mini bike. So I grabbed a grape knee high and I snuck across Central Avenue, which was the limit. You weren't supposed to do that, and bribed this man. Grape knee high worked back then, and now it's Bud Light. That's when we became friends. All the kids in the hood, Sandy, all of us, we spent our youth at Haskell Park. Sleigh riding, ice skating, baseball, softball, we lived there darn near year round. Street lights came on or the church bells rang, we came home. Our high school years were kind of a riot. There was a group of about 5 of us, and we would walk to school every morning, uphill both ways in the snow. We'd stop at Duke's Bakery, get some donut holes, which they are the best in town. When we started driving, our lives changed forever. We discovered Monty Girls, Johnny's Hitching Post. Yeah. There's a lot of other things too. Little story that Jack loves to tell. The first day John got his driver's license. There were several of us in a car driving down College Avenue, and we see John. So we start racing down Rock Springs Drive, and we're going pretty fast. When you get past Alton Memorial's entrance, the road kind of curves, and I see a police car sitting back there. So I holler, and we slow down, and John goes flying by us. We're all waving at him to slow down. He doesn't. They nailed him. What, 20 over the limit, something like that, and on a pink slip. So they hauled him off to jail. Very first day. Yep, way to go, buddy. His driving hasn't gotten any better. But I didn't realize this till years later. Jack told me one night that the police called and said, you know, got your kid in jail, you need to come and get him. Well, Jack pretty much said, screw him, let him sit there. About 4 or 5 hours later, the desk sergeant called and said, hey, there's some pretty unsavory guys here, you better come bail him out. So I think Joni probably talked him into it, but he did not spend the whole night. When John was working at Dad's gas station, we spent our summers at the Mississippi River Festival and Royal Landing, drinking Right Time, or remember the good old Schlitz Little Joes? Yeah, that was one of our favorites.
Named after Joe.
Yeah, Little Joe. Here we go. They didn't catch that. One thing we always liked to do, we would drive around having egg fights. Harmless fun, we'd throw eggs at each other's cars. Then we'd meet at the car wash down there at Bozeman, Pearl, and wash the cars off and go to Central Avenue blocks and laugh about it. And one year in the summer we decided, you know, eggs are okay, but bottle rockets and Roman candles are a lot more fun and easier on the arm. So we were doing that. There was 3 carloads of us. We were going on a camping trip that night. And one of the drivers of one of the cars stuck his head out the window and a Roman candle happened to catch his hair on fire. And he crashed into a bridge up by St. Michael's on Beltree's Road. And totaled out his car, so he just pushed it off the side of the road, put everybody in the other 2 cars, and went on. Another fun time we had, one of our buddies had an MG midget, and 5 of us decided to go camping in an MG midget. We put 3 sleeping bags across the back seat, or across the back areas. 3 of us sat up there, going through Grafton. Nowadays would be a big problem. Back then, they rolled Grafton, the sidewalks closed at 8 o'clock. You didn't have to worry about it. But we ended up sleeping at Marquette Park, and of course, we had no room for a tent or food or anything like that. You don't need that kind of stuff. So we woke up the next morning completely covered with dew, and yeah. You know, there's just some things you just learn the hard way. You know, good judgment leads to boring times. After graduating Marquette, we headed off to St. Benedict's. So John and I were roommates for a while. We occasionally made it to class. one of our favorite hangouts up there was a bar called Ma's. It was about 8 blocks from the campus. Wasn't in a particularly good neighborhood, but 60 cents for a pitcher or quart of beer and 75 cents for a pitcher. It was all self-service bar. Well, John found out that the dean, whose name was Elmer Fangman, believe it or not, lived about a block off the beaten path. So John talked us all into saving it up for the night, and all of us guys would just kind of water the dean's shrubs on the way home from campus. He had a heck of a bill that next year, replacing all the shrubs in his yard. If we didn't learn anything else at St. Benedict's, we learned how to drink beer. And we did. Another time out at Benedict's, a whole group from Alton decided to go to Table Rock Lake for a weekend. It was Labor Day weekend. And John was driving a 64 Chevy Impala that his dad had given him. Well, John took the spare tire jack out, lined the whole bottom there with garbage bags, filled it full of ice and Coors, which you couldn't get in Missouri at that time. So he comes down there, and there was probably, what, 30 of us at least? Yeah, we partied pretty good and pretty loud. And apparently some of the campers got up and left in the middle of the night. And the next morning at 6 a.m. sharp, the owner of the campground, the park rangers, the county sheriff, and the Missouri police came and drug us literally out of our tents. And Mr. Jim Horn, Sr., that had the grocery store, he happened to be there too. Yes. It wasn't a pretty sight, and it kind of put a damper on things till we popped a few more beers that morning, but yeah. I'm not sure the statute's limitations have run out on some of our college activities. And I do see an off-duty police officer out here too. So. You got your cuffs on at the end? Okay. I'm gonna keep quiet on some of those things then. Guys have hit on about John getting married in '78 to Kathy, and I do remember that a couple of tuxedos got ruined in the pool at Ramada Inn that night. Yeah. Some of the Kansas City Mafia, maybe? Yeah.
Kathy didn't know about that.
Kathy, see me after this, Kathy. And they're talking about working for household finance. Kathy taking the job of his dorm, getting insurance. Living in a girl's dorm, that had to be the hardest 2 years of your life. John is a man of high standards. His idea of raising the bar is getting a shorter bar stool. He did have his 55th kindergarten reunion this year, but he was really concerned about the 150 pounds he's put on since then. And now John is retiring from what? Board meetings and golfing 3 or 4 times a week? You know, your timing is perfect. You can apply for Gary Pinkel's job now. You know, I did a little research, and I think maybe you ought to do some landscaping in your retirement, because in my research, I found out that your address is the only one in a 3-county area that didn't get a Pride Eye Award this year. John, I've got little gifts up here for you. You can open them later, and you can thank me later, and you might want to have Father Jim bless them before you leave, but it's something you can put in with your other awards that you've gotten over the years, and maybe, let's see, it's a golf commemorative. So.
Oh boy.
Thank you.
John says, Joe, thanks for going light. Mike Slaughter, principal architect, and an old friend of John's.
I can't cannot tell you how excited I am about being here. What I mean is I cannot tell you that I am excited about being here. I called my wife today, 4 o'clock. I say, is that John Keller thing tonight? She said, yeah. I said, where is it? What time? She says, it's at the Atrium at 6 o'clock. I said, do I have to go? She said, well, yeah, you're going to roast them. I said, oh, shoot. I said, I better prepare something then. So I've only had like 2 hours to prepare this. But I started thinking, it's going to be a roast. There's got to be 2 things involved in a roast. One, you have to have a roastee who is relevant. John, I've known you a long time. You have never, nor ever will, be relevant. Yet we roast him. 2, you have to have roasters who have credibility. So I took a list that who Pam put together. We've got Dr. Frank Bemis, a backcracker. We've got Joe Hannon, a used car salesman. We've got Jim Holford, a moneylender. We've got Steve Schwartz, a moneylender who doesn't tell people, a retired moneylender, who doesn't tell people he went to K-State, and the only people that wear bow ties are Wildcats from K-State and bozos. Then, we've got Dale Ludecker, the last survivor of the Titanic. Now, most of you don't remember that the Titanic sank April 14th, 15th, 1912. Dale's the first one to win the lifeboats, and there weren't many. He said, State Farm clients, State Farm clients. Because if the State Farm clients go down with the Titanic, he stops receiving premiums. One young pregnant woman comes up, he says, State Farm? She says, no Prudential. Wait for the next boat. I'm sorry, I digress. Who are we roasting tonight? So, again, an irrelevant roastee, a bunch of non-credible roasters. Sounds like a fun night. I asked Pam, do I gotta pay for this? She said, yeah, $100 a piece. I said, $100 a piece to listen to me speak? I said, that's $200. I'm not worth half that. Anyhow, John Keller, November 21st, 1954, Key West, Florida. Sounds pretty exotic. The only thing exotic about John Keller is if you've golfed with him. He wears a straw hat, he wears a Hawaiian shirt, he wears plaid pants, he wears white socks, he wears black socks with his white shoes. That's as exotic as he gets. I state the date and place of his birth because I want to establish my credibility. I did my research. I know stuff. Joe, who went to grade school with John, touched on some of John's exploits as a young man. I also had the misfortune of going to school with John at Marquette. I was 2 years behind him. However, my sister Mary Beth was in John's class. As noted, the class of 1972, a class that will always be remembered for nothing. Except, and note this, except good-looking cheerleaders. Now, Marquette has always prided itself on its scholar athletes. To say John was a scholar athlete is a gross exaggeration. Let me give you an example of the scholar half of this scholar athlete. Joe and John get their ACT scores back. 36 is perfect. 21's average. Joe gets a 32. Joe says, wow, now I can be a used auto salesman. John looks at Joe and says, well, I got a 32 also. A 15 the first time and a 16 the second time. Now Joe looks at John and says, you knucklehead, 15 and 16 only equal 31. John said, yeah, well, math was my lowest score, but you know what? With those math scores, I can go into banking because I hear bankers get to golf a lot. And you don't need math to be either a banker or a golfer. At least the way I count. Well, you can applaud for that. Thank you very much. You know, Joe finished in the top half of his class. I know this stuff. I'm the principal of Marquette. I pulled out the records. I'm not supposed to do that, but I did. Joe was in the top half of his class. You got to think about it. You know, all doctors, lawyers, all professionals, you always look to see, were they in the top half of their class or not? If it wasn't for the bottom half of the class, there couldn't be a top half. John held up his end of the bargain. As for the athletic part of this scholar athlete, oh no, I'm just getting going. John, or as we called him, old number 66. That's true, isn't it? All this is true. John was in high school, 5'4", 145 pounds, and slower than molasses in the winter. True? So therefore, what does Coach Rogers do? He makes him a lineman. I'll give you this, John. Back then you weren't big enough to play line, but you tried. Lately, based on the pictures and looking at you now, you can not only play on the line, you could be the whole left side of the line. Well, it is a roast, isn't it? Or, if not the whole left side of the line, you could probably start for your 0-12 Kansas Jayhawks. Well, they are. Nothing I said is a lie yet. I happen to have gotten my hands on my sister's 1971 yearbook, the junior year, and I found in the attic at Marquette John's 1971 yearbook. And you know how in the yearbook you write things back and forth to each other? In it, my sister Mary Beth writes, congratulations on making, I'm sorry, got one step ahead of myself. John writes to Mary Beth, dear Mary Beth, congratulations on making varsity cheerleader. You'll be able to cheer for me and probably one of the best teams in Marquette history next year. And then I noticed in the other yearbook, Mary Beth responded, oh, you're going out for football. If you were better looking, you could be a cheerleader. Because you sure can't play football. That's what she wrote. God bless her. So John's senior year of football is the 1971 season. Yep, one of the best teams in history. Start off the season. We beat, for the first time in a long time, Jerseyville. And these seniors are just yucking it up. You know, oh my God, we're going to go undefeated. They then proceeded to reel off 8 losses in a row. To put that in perspective, the following years, Marquette went 7-1, 9-0-1, 9-1, and 8-2. 33-5-1 in the years after John graduated. But enough about John's athleticism or lack thereof. I am sure that John's relevancy must be due to his big brother relationship to Cindy and Lisa. Marquette's like a family, and everyone knows everyone. And back in the 70s, there were a lot of Ursuline nuns roaming the halls and classrooms. If you wanted to get through Marquette, you butter up the nuns. So, and by the way, at this time, those nuns were vicious. You know, nuns were vicious. Matter of fact, those nuns could have put together a football team better than John's football team, and you wouldn't have started on the nuns' football team. Here's the difference between having an older brother or an older sister in high school. All, I mean all, of the Ursuline nuns loved my sister Mary Beth. So when I came into high school as a freshman, the nuns would ask if I was any relation to Mary Beth Slaughter. I would smile and I would shyly say, yes, she's my sister. As God is my witness, every nun hugged me as I said that. I say this for a reason. Cindy Keller came into Marquette that following year. John's a senior. So Cindy has Sister Carmelita for English. Sister Carmelita goes through the class roster and calls out, Cindy Keller? Cindy says, here. Sister says, are you any relation to John Keller? Cindy not knowing better. But yes, he's my brother. Whack! Whack! She slaps him twice. This is true. She slaps him her twice. Same thing happens with Sister Ursula and Sister Regina. Whack! 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 Cindy's crying. She goes running to Lowell Brosmer, the principal at the time. Lowell says, well, you are John Keller's sister. You know he's got the devil in him. All they're trying to do is knock the hell out of you. It's true. But here's the best part. So a few years later, I come back to Marquette as a teacher. Lisa Keller's in my class. I take roll. I say, Lisa Keller? She says, here. I say, oh, are you any relation to John Keller? She looks at me and says, no relation. Well played, Lisa. Good advice, Cindy. But John really was a doting brother to Cindy while she was a freshman. Jack and Joni don't even know probably some of these stories. And I kept the clean ones. John worked at Jack's filling station back when it was a full service station. And you got to know the customers personally. This is a true story, he knows it. One customer comes in. Jack, he doesn't have enough money to pay for the gas. But he's got a bottle of peach wine. He says to John, I'll give you the peach wine for the gas. John says, fine, I'll take it. Oh, it gets better, doesn't it, Cindy? So, it's prom night of John's senior year. Cindy's a freshman. Cindy finds out, oh, no, Joan and Jackie are out. Okay, you're gone. Doing something. Cindy finds the cooler on the back porch. John's cooler, full of beer and a bottle of peach wine. John thinks, oh, Cindy, she'll tell mom and dad. So he bribes her. He gives Cindy the bottle of peach wine and a six-pack of Falstaff. Peach wine and Falstaff, as John would say, the breakfast of champions. True story. Well, Cindy and her little freshman friend, who is always identified as the other Cindy, and Joni didn't find this out for 30 years. Cindy and the other Cindy proceed to imbibe of the peach wine and the Falstaff. And the other Cindy ends up pretty darn sick. Joni and Jack come home, and of course they tell Joni the other Cindy has the flu, which Joni believes. John, the other Cindy is my wife. You gave my wife alcohol when she was 14 years old. 14 years old. Yeah, John and his buddies used to drive over to Central Package Liquor after the football games. They would go a block away from Central Package Liquor to an old wino's house. True or not? True. To an old wino's house, and they would knock on the door, he'd come out, John would give him a 20 to go and buy a 12-pack of Falstaff, and then keep the change and buy whatever you wanted for yourself. That's true. That is gospel. Yeah, but you gave him 20. Let me finish the story. Anyhow, one night this happens, and afterwards, one wino says to the other, "Who was that?" He says, "Oh, that's old number 66 on the Marquette football team. He always gives me 20 bucks for a 12-pack of Falstaff. I keep the change. He's one of my best customers. Don't know why he always has his football jersey on. He must not get to play much in the games. He doesn't look very athletic." The other wino says, "Doesn't look too smart either." In unison, they say, "He'll be a banker someday." Now, I probably used a lot of time, but I got one more story about his high school sweetheart. Too much time? You want me to tell it? All right, I'll tell it. At least I know you were kind to your high school sweetheart. I called her. I did. I'm telling you, these are all true stories. All right, so John and his high school sweetheart. John convinces his high school sweetheart to go out into his farm field. Story, isn't it? John comes home. He is itching all over his body. I mean, just itching all over his body. Joni says to John, "What's going on, John? You can't stop scratching." "Well, Mom, must have been something I ate." A few hours later, his sweetheart comes home. This is true. I called her. I talked to her. His sweetheart comes over. Joni notices she's itching all over. Joni looks at John and says, "Something you ate my ass."
You know he's not telling the truth. Mom never said that.
She did that one time. "Yes, sir, you were quite the son, older brother, scholar, athlete, boyfriend, businessman, etc., etc. But you, sir, are still one irrelevant person, Mr. Keller." Thank you very much.
How many more, Frank?
Bartosiak, you got a tough act to follow. Dave Bartosiak, C.J. Slosser, old friend of John Keller. David?
All right, let's just clarify a couple facts so far. I am not old.
You're mature.
Father Jim will tell you that him and I are about the same age. I'm younger than him, and I dare you to call him Old Father Jim. Second of all, you know that Mike Slaughter got up here and talked about the other roasters? All of them except for me. Mike's contract's up. We were starting negotiations on his new contract for next week. True story. All right, so I thought we'd start. You know, everybody's been up here beating John up. And I just want to say some good things about John, because John and I, you know, I wasn't there when John was born, and I wasn't there when he went to grade school or high school. I don't know if I was born when you were in grade school or high school. So I thought I'd say some nice things about John. John's got some great parents. And Jack and Joni, you did a great job of raising your daughters. John has a lovely, understanding, very understanding wife, Kathy. He has some great kids, JR and Liz, some great son-in-law, a great daughter-in-law. And I don't know Lisa very well, but Cindy and Bob are great people. So I was going to try to say just the nice things about you, but that was it. And so I thought, well, we'll try to figure out where we go from there. So there were some things I was going through, but then Father Jim showed up tonight, so we'll skip that first story. Now, Teresa and I have become good friends with Kathy and John. And so we went to a number of events together. We've had dinner together. We were in Lock Haven one night for dinner. John said, you know, Dave, he says, you go to church quite a bit. He says, I know you don't have any kids that are of age to go to school, but would you be interested in serving on the Marquette board? It's 1 hour a month. And we talked about it, and I thought, well, okay, I'll do that. Then I got to the meetings. Well, first of all, John's 15 minutes late, so now it's an hour and 15 minutes. Then Mike Slaughter gets his chance to talk at each board meeting. Now it's an hour and 45 minutes a month. And then John, as president, he gets up and he talks for a half an hour. Now it's 2 hours and 15 minutes a month, and we haven't even got to committee meetings yet. So John was a good recruiter for our board members for this hour a month. We also went, John and Kathy and Teresa and I, one year I had season tickets to the Rams. This is when the Rams were going to stay in St. Louis. And the NCAA was going to have their regional finals in St. Louis at the Edward Jones Dome. The Kansas Jayhawks were the number 1 ranked team in the country. And I called John and said, hey, I know Kansas is, you know, they're up there. They're going to get a number 1 seed. I can get us some club seat tickets to the basketball game. Are you interested? Kathy goes, yes. We're in. Jayhawks. I'm going to cross my fingers. I'm going to cross my toes. We're going to win the national championship. Kansas lost. They didn't even make it. Kathy became the biggest Northwest Iowa fan that there ever has been in St. Louis. John didn't care because in the club seats, you got alcohol. In the NCAA events, they didn't serve alcohol at the basketball games, but in the club seats, you got alcohol. John calls me Monday morning, he says, hey, he says, one of the gals in here at the office was at the games, and she said, there's these people right next to us, and they're drinking beer. And John looks at her and goes, yeah, it was me. There's another night, Teresa and I, John and Kathy, and a couple others, a few couples, we had bought a dinner at an auction, so we go out to dinner. We've got a limousine. We get in the limousine, we drive up to Tony's North for a 5-course dinner with wine pairings. Now, I will just tell you, it's a good thing that tonight's only a 3-course dinner because John is not very good with 5-course dinners. We get up there and we have a little wine and we have a little cheese and we have our salad. We have our appetizer, and apparently John got some bad shrimp or something after that, because the next thing I know, John's kind of sleeping on the table. Kathy's not very happy. The rest of us thought it was pretty funny. So, true story, right, John? From what you remember? I remember when we got back to Alton. We pull up in front of St. Mary's because we'd all met there.
And JR is living across the street. And John comes up and JR goes, "What are you guys doing out so late?" John's just giving JR a big hug. "I love you, son." He's like, "Dad, you need to go home." So when we go out to dinner from now, anytime we go out to dinner with John, we take a little present for John. It's the John dinner present. That's what when you go out to dinner with John, and especially if it's a 5-course dinner. He can handle salad and meat, potatoes, but if you're going to have anything else, you kind of want to take that along with you. Probably not that one. These guys have talked tonight about John and his kindliness. And my daughter, she's 10. And when we go someplace and we say, she goes, "What time are you leaving?" I said, "Well, we're leaving about 6. So, because she's always excited for us to leave because the babysitter's coming. And the babysitter will be there and she goes, "When are you leaving?" I said, "Well, we're waiting." I said, "We got somebody else that's supposed to show up." "John Keller, he's late again, isn't he?" So even Ava's kind of got to know how John is. I go back to Kathy's understanding, and since I got to know John, and I just can't believe how it is, because if you've ever been out with John, and it's, especially if he's riding with you, and it comes to the end of the night, it's like, okay, it's time to go home. Okay, just got to say goodbye to everybody in the room, if I know them or not. And I think I've come to figure this out. I think what John's trying to do is, because he's always late showing up for something, he's trying to make up for it on the other end. So, that's just kind of the way John is. But we learn, we start telling him that be there 15 minutes before we're really supposed to leave, or the event starts a half hour before it's really supposed to start. So, that one's about JR and Liz. I better not do that. We got this group, we get together on Friday afternoons and for some social time and try to resolve community issues. And we're not very bright, but Mr. Schwartz and Mr. Horn and a few others here, we get together at a local establishment and try to talk about what's going on during the week. And John's usually the last one there. I'll call Johnny after. "John, you going to be at the meeting this afternoon?" "Yes." "Okay, well, we're going to meet about 4:45. "Okay, I'll be there. No problem." 5 o'clock, John's not there. 5:15. John will finally come stumbling in. "Where you been, John?" Well, John likes to go to the funeral home quite a bit. Now, I don't know why. I mean, he knows a lot of people, and I guess he knows a lot of dead people. But John goes to the funeral home more than anybody I know. Is it true, Joe? Yeah, see? In fact, I think he's probably come to realize it because he texted me like 2 weeks ago and he said, "I'm going to be late, guess where I'm at."
That's the only thing that's true so far.
John Keller is the only person in town that has a personal private parking spot at both Jennett Funeral Home and Elias Calhoun Hotel. I go with him to the funeral home one day. A friend of ours' parents had passed away. And we walk in, and John takes the prayer cards out of the holder. He signs the book, takes the prayer cards out, puts his business cards in there. We stand in line. He walks up to the family, and he says, "My deepest sympathies. I'm so sorry for your loss. The bank has some special bereavement packages going on. If you're interested, call me. We can talk about it on Monday. You take the weekend and grieve." So John calls Matt Horn and I a couple weeks ago. He says, "Hey," he says, "I'm retired, 61. And Matt and I are like, what are you going to do?" So we've kind of figured it out. The life and times of John Keller. and we think it's going to be called, you remember the movie Wedding Crashers? There's a movie coming out, The Life and Times of John Keller, Funeral Crashers. So Matt's going to be played by Brad Pitt.
Yeah.
I think George Clooney will play me. And Danny DeVito was going to play John. And I'm going to end, you know, we've talked about, some of these guys have talked about John's great golfing ability. Well, John is my league partner. Now, here's where being late for everything comes into benefit for John. Now, and it's not just John, because we have a third partner, Bill Hines, and they're both about the same. I'm in golf league. It's the first night that I can play. It's after tax season. St. Mary's, they start golf before tax season. I don't know why. But it's the first night I'm out there. Golf league starts at 5:30. I'm there at 5. And about 5:20, I get a call first from Bill Hines. Hey, I'm in Carlinville. I'm running late. Can you pay for me and get me some beer? I'm like, yeah, I'll pay you back. Okay. 5:25, John calls me. Hey, I'm running late. I had to run home from the bank. Can you go in and pay for me and get me some beer? It's the first night of golf league. I am down $50 and I haven't hit a ball yet. He's a great golf partner. But when you play with him, you know, John's a pretty good putter. And we'll be out playing, and all of a sudden, John, when he starts making putts, he'll make putts for about 5 holes in a row. And it don't matter where it's at. I mean, it's 10 feet or 20 feet, John will knock them in. But John putts left-handed. The rest of his game sucks. And he plays that right-handed. Keeps telling me, I think I need new clubs. I said, I think you need to play left-handed all the time. But the best part about having John as a golf partner, when we play in scrambles, is that he brings JR along. And JR is a good golfer. So it's good to have John. And we tell John, hey, we got a scramble coming up. JR want to play? Yeah, I'll get JR to play. Okay. He goes, I got to check my schedule. I said, don't worry about it. As long as JR's going to be there, you can stay home. You know, last thing I got to say, so we take John, we're going to play one day. Tom Miller and John and I go over and play golf with Al McGinnis at Belle Reeve Golf Course. Now, John is a not very big hitter, especially when he's playing those household finance, Wilson golf balls, or Illinois State Bank top flights. I dare anybody to find a golf ball in John's bag that doesn't have a bank logo on it. So we go out to play Belle Reeve, and we kind of hit the ball and drag John along. Come on, John. Because Belle Reeve's kind of a long course. But we get done at the end of the day, and John and I, we had a couple drinks, and we're getting ready to go home. We're putting our clubs in the car. And John says, hey, hold on a second. I know that guy over there. And he runs across the parking lot at Belle Reeve to some stranger. You know, this is how John is. John just got to tell somebody goodbye before he can leave. And he said, I knew that guy. And this guy is looking at him like, who the hell are you? But anyway. You know, I haven't known you as long as these other guys, and so I don't know how you were when you were young. I'm sure you were a great guy. But anyway, John's become a really good friend of mine, and I'm so, you know, Pam called me and said, would you be willing to speak on John's behalf? And I said, sure, did he die? She said, no, we're doing a roast. And I said, okay. I said, well, I'll speak at his roast someday maybe, but he's a great guy. He's got a great family. You know, his parents are just lovely. His kids are wonderful. His wife is just one of the greatest people in the world. And I am just, I'm really pleasured to call him a friend of mine. So, John, congratulations.
Thank you, David. That's 5 down. One more to go. We got Steve Schwartz. I asked Pam if we had any way to put this in order, and she said, we're just going to make Schwartz last. Here's his first boss and his good friend.
For more props.
More gift.
Mike, you're wrong. John does have to learn how to do math and count, particularly on his golf game, because when he scores 125 and then walks off after the third hole, you know he's having some trouble. Boy, I hate to say this. I'm going to say something that I was a K-State graduate, so I'm going to say Rock, Chalk, Jayhawk, KU. Now, when we went to K-State, we used to say something different. We used to say Rock, Chalk, Chicken Hawk, and then we used to say some other things that went back to that thing. So I was looking at kind of like a reference of KU and just exactly what is a Jayhawk. And this is perfect. And Linda said it to me tonight when I walked in, because she said, look at this, it looks like Thanksgiving. We have a roaster and a roastee, and look at the turkey in the middle with his face on there of a Jayhawk. And if you've noticed that John walks around with clothes that says KU with a Jayhawk on it. I think he's got a hat, he's got a sweater, he's got a coat. And I looked up the definition of he's got it on right now. I looked up the definition of a Jayhawk on the internet, and it's basically a cross between a blue jay and a hawk. Now, being from K-State, a chicken hawk, which is kind of like a pest, and a blue jay, which is a noisy, quarrelsome bird that steals from other nests. So next time you see John with a jayhawk, he'll remind him that he's a noisy pest that steals stuff from other nests. So. Pam asked me about 5 or 6 months ago to talk about John tonight. My first thought was, John who? I started thinking about, this is pretty easy. John was literally the first person that I met when I moved here. And we were working for household finance at that time. And probably making about $1.25 an hour. But he was the first one, and same thing happens at that time. He was always late for a meeting back 40 years ago that he is right now. But I was starting to think, what nice can I talk about, and what nice things can I say about John Keller? It dawned on me, there really wasn't much I could really say. And when I was talking to, I think Joe Snyder and Rick Sobolewski about it, they bet me $100 that I couldn't find anything nice. Well, I actually did. I did find one nice thing to say. And John, so I don't owe you $100, you owe me $100. But one of the things that John tries to do, he always tries to say something nice about somebody. And I'm reminded of the story that one year we were at the quarterback club. We decided we'd go down and grab a couple of beers afterwards. And it was probably about 10 o'clock at night. We walked into a bar down on Broadway, and there's 2 doors that you walk into, a little vestibule in between, you know what I'm going to say. And we walked through the first door, and we walked in the second door, and the door opens automatically, and there's a gal in there that is just completely naked. She has absolutely no clothes on whatsoever. She had tennis shoes on, and that was about it. Now, this gal wasn't from Victoria's Secrets. In fact, she was kind of butt-ass naked. And John was looking at something that, to say nice about her. And she had just really nice white tennis shoes. Cleanest I think I've ever seen. And so John looks at her and kind of does one of these things. He goes, nice shoes. You know, we've all talked about John. It's a common theme as far as him being late. And reminds me, there was one time earlier this year, we were both going to a meeting. And I called him up and I said, John, I'm going to be a little late. Would you tell everyone that I'm going to be 20, 25 minutes late, and order me a salad for lunch? That was well, but I forgot who I was talking to. I actually was 20, 25 minutes late, and I beat him to the meeting. And I think going back to when Pam asked me to speak, I think Pam was wanting me to say something about Kentucky. We go on a Kentucky trip every year. There's probably 36, 44 guys that and we go on a trip down there. We leave usually Thursday, the night before, or the week before Memorial Day, and then we come back on Sunday. And so, John, don't worry, I'm not going to say anything about Kentucky. I'm not going to talk about Dr. Galakowitz, or I'm not going to talk about when you fell asleep. Dave mentioned something about him falling asleep up at Tony's. He fell asleep at a dinner, not on the table, but in his salad. That was kind of nice. Speaking of falling asleep, we went down to the Masters this last year, had a great time. But did anybody see John fall asleep on the 17th hole? Yeah, he was. Tiger Woods was coming up. Jordan Spieth was teeing off on number 18, coming up on 17, and John was asleep in the stands. And I think that the CBS got it. Yeah, sure. Not to mention the time that there's actually down in Kentucky, there's really not much to do because there's a quilting museum, and so we spent a lot of time going to the quilting museum. In fact, John almost got put on TV from the quilting show, which I don't think that is the show anymore, but anyway. So, what have I learned from John Keller? Well, I've learned that one more means four more. And so we have a deal around the house is that when I'm going out and I'm going to a meeting, all I have to do, the Keller rule, is say, I'm with John Keller. And Linda, my wife, says, I understand. Because she knows that one beer is going to be four more beers. I also learned that beer is a clear liquid. And before a scheduled colonoscopy, did you really go to a hockey game the night before?
It is a clear liquid.
It is a clear liquid. It is a clear liquid. But that would have been an exciting game to go see, I think. Anyway, it's my pleasure to stand up here and talk about John. We've been good friends. We've been through basically a lot of the circumstances together. We used to work for household finance. We went into banking at about the same time, worked for a sister bank, and had many same experiences. So I congratulate John in his retirement, and he's been a great friend over the years, so I thank you. more thing. I forgot. Look back to KU. KU has on the 19th of this month, and no other university would have this, only KU would, but they're trying to get a Guinness World Record for getting together with an ugly sweater or an ugly sweatshirt. So I got John, only from KU, a sweatshirt that is kind of Christmassy, and John can wear it. He's going to go to Lawrence this weekend, and you can wear it at the Harvard game. But it's you got to open it up, and because it's pretty ugly.
Hey Kathy, what do you think?
It is bad.
Thank you, Steve. Well, that's all the scheduled roasters, but we do have a couple extras. So you step down and just give us a couple more minutes here now. I believe your children would like to say a couple of words, so if JR and Elizabeth would step up here, please.
Hello. I'm Elizabeth.
And I'm JR. I know we're going a little longer, so we'll try to make this quick here. Just want to say thanks to Pam and Frank for hosting tonight. I'd like to also say we're proud to be the only speakers who won't need any reading glasses. And Steve, just a quick question. Why do K-State fans only play 14 holes of golf? Because they never make the Final Four. So now that you've heard from all of John's friends, we're here to tell you what it's like to have John as dad.
So when thinking about this, the motto came to mind, do as I say, not as I do. Several examples can be noted from speeches earlier, but a couple came to mind. Bedtime was always negotiable because he was always up late watching every sports score from the day, every bad TV rerun that happens, and he was one time playing Super Nintendo until the wee hours of the morning on a school night, and Mom had to finally put a stop to it at about 1 a.m. or something like that. So do as I say, not as I do applies to several things. I'll leave it said.
So John Keller time has been alluded to many times tonight, and really everybody in this room knows if you're running late to a function, it's only true if John beats you there. Then you know you're actually really late. But growing up with him when it was dinner time, and sorry Mom, it was most likely takeout, but it was always good. But if Dad said he would be home at a certain time, he'd always show up 20 to 30 minutes later than that, and then make sure he complained that the food was cold. Definitely wouldn't let us forget about that. And then going on vacations with Dad and family was always fun. It was always an adventure sharing a hotel room. The TV would always be on late, and then you'd fall asleep with it on, and then one of us would yell at Mom to kick him to wake him up because he was snoring. But one time we do have to thank you. You were nice enough during Greg's wedding, our cousin Greg in Springfield, to fall asleep on the toilet. But sure enough, the snoring came, and we still were woken up by the snoring, so.
Are you sure you don't have narcolepsy, Dad? So along those lines, going on vacation was always an adventure, and we've touched on this several times too. Whether we were in Florida, Colorado, California, somebody always, he always got lost. And like every man in America, our mom, was saying, "You're going the wrong way," and even us, "You're going the wrong way." "I'm fine, no. And then he finally realizes, "Oh, I am actually lost. Why didn't you guys tell me?" "Well, we told you 20 times. You just didn't listen." So then there's also not been a vacation where he hasn't managed to find somebody that he knows. I think he seeks them out, like we said. He finds a golf logo or a KU logo or something and strikes up a conversation. So he's Alton's very own 6 degrees of John Keller. You probably have something in common with him or something like that. And now that he's on Facebook, you all better watch out, because he'll be friending you left and right, and then your brother and your sister and your third cousin.
So he's always involved in our sports. He's always at my soccer games, basketball games, baseball games. He's my very first golf teacher. Didn't take me long to find somebody new. But he was always able to give me a set of golf clubs. Somebody would, he'd find a set, have them cut down, something that would always fit me. One story that he actually told me last week, which I forgot about, but we were coming home from Rolling Hills one week, and I was maybe 10 or 11. And I asked him in the car, I said, did you do that on purpose? And he said, "Do what?" I said, "Let me win." He said, "No, I didn't. Thanks, thanks for reminding me." But as far as Liz goes, he's always had her dance competitions on Saturdays, always had her halftime performances for basketball, football. Even taping Liz's dance competition one time, it was nice enough to tape it, but taped the wrong girl, her friend Lori. Apparently they did look a lot alike, but it's the effort that really counts.
When I wanted to see myself, so in college I heard this term, and it's kind of a common term now. John Keller has FOMO, fear of missing out. That is the term, I think, that describes him to a T. I shared this with him this summer, and I think he was like, "I'm offended, but that's kind of true, actually." So never the first one to leave anywhere, maybe because he feels bad about being the last one to show up. And then when we are on vacations, and anywhere really, if you've been with him, in every hotel or restaurant there's brochures and paperwork and pamphlets. He grabs every last bit of information with the fear of missing out on anything in the area, even if he's spending the night there like one night or something. So FOMO, use it. It definitely describes him.
So Dad, since you're retiring, we decided it'd be nice to make you a new resume. You never know if you might need another one. So we'd just like to list all your jobs, committees, awards. Usually you're supposed to keep these to one page. Not the case for you. So we'll try and keep it short here. John J. Keller, young, punctual banker with decades of experience seeking full-time employment.
Work experience, household finance, Fort Scott, Kansas, and Coffeyville, Kansas, for 1 year, where then he went to Grand Forks, North Dakota, where he became the Delta Gamma house dad, which we've heard that. Missouri State Bank for 5 years, Illinois State Bank for 10 years, Carrollton Bank for 20 plus years. But back to FOMO for a minute, I forgot what I was going to say. So he also does this thing where if he doesn't know who everybody is, he has to know immediately. Who's that? Who'd you talk to? How do you know them? You can't do anything without him asking. Wait, now tell me again, who's that? And Terry Pasteros is laughing over there because she knows exactly if that's true. Sorry.
But outside of the banking world, you held many other jobs. You did golf maintenance for Muni and the Rock. You were a youth soccer coach, Marquette golf team bus driver to state, even though you ran out of gas on the interstate on the way up there. A particular story I actually am really proud, not that I'm not proud of you in general, but you were a golf caddy and vice chairman for the 1999 USGA Public Length Championship at Spencer T. Owen Golf Course, just down the street. Dad was not only instrumental in getting the tournament to Alton, but he decided he would caddy, and when he found out there was a kid from Oklahoma who was trying to win the tournament without a caddy at 95-degree heat for the week. But he did not want to be paid. He said, trying to instill confidence in the young golfer, he said, when you win this thing, you take me to the Masters with you, because that was an exemption you would win if you won that tournament. So that following spring, Hunter Haas, the winner, and player that Dad was caddy for, called, and that was the call to go down to Augusta. And our family was able to stay in the same house as Hunter, go to the practice round, drive down Magnolia Lane, and make one 13-year-old the happiest kid on earth, even getting snuck into the practice green and standing next to PGA golfers. So that was really neat.
And so no resume is complete without a few accomplishments. So there's committees, awards, volunteerism, so we'll run through the list, which many of you have as well. Marquette board member for 11 years, past president and the Serve Young Award winner. Marquette Foundation board member, Marquette Raffle Committee and Capital Campaign Committee member, Southern Illinois Employers Association, and 2015 Chairman's Award recipient.
Alton Halloween Parade Committee for 33 years, former chairman, member at St. Mary's Catholic Church, Alton Knights of Columbus member for 25 years, Alton Knights of Columbus Quarterback Club member and past president, who would always call to get the Rams players to come speak, North Alton Godfrey Business Council, the Pride Incorporated board member and Bucket Brigade participant.
Alton Creating Entrepreneurial Opportunities board member, which will be offered to Alton High and Marquette juniors starting next school year. Creative Kids Learning Center award recipient, Lock Haven Country Club board member for 10 years and a former president, Riverbend Growth Association member and past chairman, OSF St. Anthony's Foundation board member, and awarded the Mission Partners Award in 2014.
Last one. East End Improvement Association board member and past president, Alton Godfrey Rotary Club member, former board member, and the 2014 Paul Harris Award recipient, Greater Alton Community Development Corp board member, and American Cancer Society Mardi Gras Ball past president with our mom.
So that's a pretty comprehensive list. So as you can tell from his resume and just tonight in general, I'm probably gonna cry. He was a really busy man, but he always made time for us. They never got in the way of family. Why am I crying? He taught us many things, and some of them good, some of them bad, maybe. But I think he's definitely taught us and shown us the importance of giving back to your community and having a lot of hometown pride. I know living in St. Louis, I can say that, because whenever I stand from Alton, I'm proud. Behind every great man is an even greater woman. So we'd like to recognize our mom. Your loving support for this busy man during your marriage has never gone unnoticed and has certainly influenced our own marriages. So thanks to our mom and our dad.
So Daddy definitely surprised us all by saying that you're retiring, but as you can see from all of the lists that we've gone through, you definitely deserved it. In other words, we're really proud of you and all that you've done for your family, your community. Enjoy your retirement, and we love you.
Wow, what a nice finish. Do you have a few words you'd like to say? It's getting late, but before you talk, we have one more person who'd like to speak. And that would be just your name.
I'll get through this without crying, as my daughter did. And yes, I will be right back. Okay. It's been very enlightening. Some things I knew, some things I definitely didn't know.
The Rose make stuff up.
Yeah, you thought they were just going to make stuff up, but they didn't. I promise, I'm going to have to read this because otherwise I know it will cry. I promise I won't take much of your time, but it's my one and only chance to talk about John, where he won't be able to interject any thoughts. I will not be interrupted from you. I'm not going to roast John because those of you that did don't have to go home with him tonight and be asked for the next several months what I meant by that particular comment. So, kudos to you. I agree on the common theme of never being on time. I live that life every day. As of this evening. I wanted to leave at 4:30 so we'd be here at 5. We were not. We all know there's real time and then there's John Keller time. I'm sure we've all played the trick to tell John you need to be there at 4:30 when really we mean 6:30. It works for a while, but now it's like, okay, when do we really need to be there? Well, we were supposed to be there a half hour ago, so it doesn't work. That's failed. I can tell you that he is very honored and humbled to be here tonight. He seemed a little nervous driving out here, but I know he's very honored. I can also tell you that from Green Bay, Wisconsin to Key West, Florida, and everywhere in between, John will run into somebody he knows. He will always stop and talk to them and ask how they are doing. That may be one of the reasons why John is running late, but we know it's not really true. He wants to make sure to acknowledge that person. If there's one thing I know about John in the last 37 years of marriage, there's never a person that's a stranger to him. I can also tell you that he's incredibly lucky to have both his parents here tonight. Now this is where I'm going to cry. Jack and John Keller are here to witness their son be honored by Pride. I can't have my parents here, and I know there's a lot of you that don't have your parents here. He's extremely lucky to have them both here tonight. I can also tell you how much he loves Elizabeth and John Robert. I know he's very proud of them, and he is amazed at their accomplishments. Many times through the years, he has told me how proud he is to be their dad. Our family in the past years has grown in the addition of Melissa and Brad. You two have succeeded his prayers and wishes he has had for his children. I have been asked many times in the past few weeks what I think about John retiring. I can honestly say the jury is still out. I don't know. I can tell you when John started. John started in banking, he had found his niche. When he was asked to join Carrollton Bank and help open the branch in Alton, he was very appreciative for the opportunity. I can remember when the bank was building an addition, he would go up there on the weekends and check the progress. It was kind of like he was an expectant father. I always said to him, Carrollton Bank is like your third child. He loved the bank. He loved doing things with the bank. We would decorate it at Christmas time. He paid so much attention to that bank. Since he had that third child, he helped it grow and become a success it is today. Like any father, after 20 years of nurturing and guiding your child through the years of growth, John feels it's time to step aside. He feels the foundation is very secure. I can also tell you many people refer to John as John Keller, Carrollton Bank. That's just how it flows. It's not John Keller, it's John Keller, Carrollton Bank. Like that was his full name. One example is this plaque that I just happened to come across a few days ago actually, so I'm thinking, well, it must be meant to be. This plaque was made by a gentleman that doesn't know John, other than John Keller, Carrollton Bank. And down at the bottom it says, world's greatest banker. And it's a picture of him and a few of the employees. and it has a little arrow pointing down at John's picture and says, "That's him." And this man gave it to somebody at the bank and just said, "Here, put this in his chair." John doesn't know who it is. But that's just John. I mean, that's how it is. So, with John only knowing them, people knowing him as John Keller, Carrollton Bank, I wanted him to have it so we would have to remember it by. So I can't wait to see what John Keller's new tagline will be. I do know one thing, it won't be John Keller, retired guy. John, on a personal note, I am very proud to be called Kathy Keller, John Keller's wife. That's my tagline.
How much time do I get, Frank?
30 seconds. It should be right.
Really, you don't want to hear the other side, the real side of the story?
Thanks for moving that light.
Okay, you're welcome. Hey, I didn't have any clue these guys were going to talk, and that kind of sombered me out. Thank you guys. I was going to come up here, balls of fire and all that. But just remember, if you remember anything at all before you go home tonight, remember that roasts, okay? There's a lot of things on the internet you can find, and you can make stories up. But really, I need to thank Pam Whistler for putting this together. She's had some, let's all give her a hand. And whether she likes me to say this or not, she's had some adversity in her life. She lost her mother through the whole process of putting this together, and I'm grateful for her for sticking with it. And Brenda Erdley, Marianta, thank you for sitting out front earlier tonight and taking names, bringing everybody in here. And the Pride board members that are here supporting this event, guys, just be thankful. I love the organization. To sit up here and listen to all this garbage that got thrown around tonight, man. And then also to all of you for being here to support the organization and what we do and helping raise money, which is what this is all about. So thank you all very, very, very much. I need to thank Frank Amos tonight. I think. I didn't know the MC was going to be a roaster as well, but thank you, Frank, for keeping things on time and running smoothly. And to Father Jim, my pastor, and he was my friend before tonight. But I told him, I said, the roast starts after the invocation. You know what his response was? Jimbo, all I can say is we're going to miss you as you move on to Boston. He's moving to Boston January. His last Mass is January 3rd. We're going to miss him because we all love him. Jim, best wishes. Dale Newdecker, what in the heck did I say about you 2 years ago? No, thank you for going lightly. I appreciate that. And it was not a sleeve of balls, it was a dozen golf balls I offered you. And Jimmy's right about the basketball league. The reason we abandoned the league is we got older and got a little more meaner and we were beating each other up. I mean, people were. Yeah, one night we all just, I think we went to Bon Air afterwards and we said, what the heck are we doing? We're 35, 37, 40 years old, whatever. We're just, every Tuesday we're all hurting. So anyway, we'll leave some of the other stuff alone that Jim talked about. Although, one thing, if anybody doesn't know what he meant when he said, ask Liz, she's going to be available for questions right over here after the event. I'm just kidding, Liz. Just kidding. Joe, if you didn't understand what Joe meant by Monte girls, those were Monticello girls. And Joe forgot to mention, he's the one that brought the fence cutters when we cut through the fence at North Junior and went over to their dorms. I didn't know you then, Kathy, it's okay. And Joe talked about driving skills. Joe will be available after this function to tell you how to drive through a cornfield on a Sunday afternoon. And Mike, oh boy. Thank you for roasting the roasters. I don't have to spend as much time. I appreciate that. But obviously, you've never golfed with me. I wear black shoes, not white. Okay? And, you know, he took the opportunity to brag about his damn teams after I was a senior. And he coddles it in our record. But really, he was trying to let you all know that, if you notice, he's 2 years behind me in school. And they only lost like 2 games the next 2 years. So anyway. Pardon me? Oh, they lost no games the next 2 years. Thank you, Mike, for correcting that one. And Dave, yes, it is a great recruitment tool to lie to people about how much time involvement there is in being on a board. Dave proceeded to go through all the chairs at Marquette and is now the president. And he spends more time down there than I ever did. Mike Slaughter will attest to that for you. And anyway, and yeah, lately I have been visiting the funeral home a lot, sorry to say. But I do know some of these folks. That guy at Bell Reeve was Shogi. That was Bob Sjogren, okay, I knew him. Okay. And Steve Schwartz. You got your facts wrong. The person who made the comment that night about nice shoes, that was a Holbert. But that's okay, Steve remembered walking in there. Anyway. And yes, it was true. Steve Schwartz and I were recruited about, what, 10, 12 years ago? By a crew from PBS who was filming a documentary of the Quilting Museum. And we found that, well, that's pretty interesting. When are you guys going to be filming? And they said 6 a.m. tomorrow morning. We said, we won't be there. Well, come on, you guys can walk around, we'll photograph you walking. Nope, we're not getting up that early for you guys, sorry. Anyway, and also, you know, a lot of these weren't true, but this part is true. I did go to a hockey game, and my friend Dr. Allendorf did bless having beer before my colonoscopy the next morning. And but the sidebar story to that is Jim Holbert was there too, so here we go again, you know. But anyway, the common theme tonight seems to be late. And I, you know, when I got recruited to join Carrollton Bank, I kind of knew I'd found my home because for my first interview, I'm sorry, Tom Huff, I'm going to let something you may not have known all these years, because when I was interviewing with Tom Huff, who's here tonight, the chairman of the board, CEO, we were supposed to meet at, I don't know, 3 o'clock, doesn't matter. Well, John Keller shows up at 3:15, but Tom never knew that. He showed up at 3:20. I went home and after going through 3 more interviews, what have you, I said, Kathy, I hope they hire me because I've found my niche. They don't care if you're late. But thank you for hiring me. It's been a wonderful ride. It's coming to an end. As Kathy said, I won't expound on that. She said it pretty good. And again, I didn't know you guys were going to talk. So anyway, I appreciate you, honey, standing by me for 37 years. She had to send a limo to pick me up to get me to the church on time. And I thank the rest of you in the audience for not joining in the debauchery by shouting out stuff I know you could shout out. And I'm going to close by saying, most of all, I want to thank my parents, Jack and Joan Keller. Stand up, guys, especially Mom. You got me so short. I know you're probably a proud mix of proud, I hope, and embarrassed. But thank you all, most of all, for supporting the mission by coming out tonight. There's a lot going on, as there is this time of year, and you chose to be here, so thank you. I appreciate it.
Thanks, folks. Thank you very much.